Thought Shield, the anti-gaslight helmet. Thought Shield is the world's first wearable anti-gaslighting device. Slip it on, and the helmet emits a low-frequency BS pulse that auto-filters every conversation, news clip, WhatsApp argument, or political announcement for lies, manipulation, or psychological warfare. When someone starts chatting nonsense, the visor fogs up like a disrespected bathroom mirror. When a politician lies, the whole helmet shakes like a washing machine trying to escape its own existence. Comes in 3 modes. Passive, polite beeping for small lies like I'm 5 minutes away. Active, loud siren plus red flashes for government statements. Nuclear for X's. Thought Shield, because reality should not be a group project.
Focus Slap, the productivity app that actually hits back. Focus Slap monitors your screen time, scrolling habits, and avoidance tendencies. When you drift off task, Instagram, Twitter, some chaos TikTok vortex, the app sends a virtual slap across your lock screen. But it gets worse. When you keep ignoring it, the slap becomes a whole sentence of disrespect. Get back to work, superstar. You're dodging productivity like HMRC dodges billionaires. You didn't come this far to scroll memes about zodiac signs. Optional add-ons. Caribbean Auntie Pack. The slaps come with full emotional damage. African Dad Mode. Your phone starts lecturing about responsibility. Gen Z Mode. Aggressively supportive. Slay your tasks, babe. Now. Focus Slap. Stop scrolling. Start doing.
Ad Blocker Plus Plus, Government Edition. This isn't your browser's ad blocker. This is the UK government's private, enterprise-level suppression suite. The moment a creator uploads anything critical of the Prime Minister, the software automatically flags it as politically sensitive, sends it into algorithmic purgatory, disables all ad promotion, whisper shadow bans the channel. Auto-generates a polite copy-paste rejection email, comes with 5 preset modes: mild critique filter, too many facts detector, dissent suppression protocol, political satire, silencer. Nuclear mode, automatic demonetization for even thinking. That's suspicious. Perfect for democracies that want to look democratic without doing the emotional labor. Ad Blocker Plus Plus stops harmful content, meaning anything harmful to them. Reach Reducer 3000, Britain's algorithmic sniper. This government, big tech collaboration tool monitors UK political commentary in real time. When it detects videos criticizing the PM, immigration policy, public spending, scandals or lies, it instantly lowers your impressions, cuts 80–95% of your reach, rewrites your analytics to gaslight you. Buries your content under cat videos and cooking montages, sends your subscribers absolutely nothing. Bonus feature. When creators try promoting the video with Google Ads, Reach Reducer 3000 fires off a neon red disallowed policy violation strike like a jealous ex. Optional add-ons. BBC Neutrality Mode makes your content disappear entirely. Parliamentary Panic Mode suppresses your posts during PMQs. Civil Service Stealth Mode blocks ads but never admits why. Reach Reducer 3000. You can speak freely. We'll just make sure no one hears you.
They said free speech was alive in Britain. They said we were the mother of democracy, the land of open debate, the country that gave the world Orwell, but apparently forgot to read him. Because in this modern kingdom of glass screens and algorithmic gods, freedom has a new condition. You can say whatever you want, as long as it doesn't cost the Prime Minister ad revenue. That's right, the United Kingdom, that polite empire of paperwork and hypocrisy, has found a way to censor dissent without ever passing a single law. No police raids, no book burnings, just a quiet little clause in the world's biggest ad machine. YouTube, Google Ads, Meta, TikTok, they've all become obedient courtiers in Britain's modern monarchy of narrative control. Let me explain how the digital muzzle works. 1. The hidden gatekeepers. When you upload a video critical of the Prime Minister, perhaps calling out their policies, corruption, or general moral bankruptcy, you might want to promote it. You might want to boost it so people actually see it. After all, that's how the game works now. Visibility is a commodity, and Google Ads, that's the toll gate. But here's the trick. When you try to run that promotion, the ad doesn't comply with policy. No explanation, no detail, just rejection, automated, polite, faceless. You appeal and you get the same copy-pasted response. Your ad violates our content guidelines. And when you read the guidelines, there's nothing, absolutely nothing that says don't criticize politicians. But magically, those are the ads that get rejected. It's as if the invisible hand of big tech suddenly grew a wrist tattooed with the Union Jack. 2. Digital Britain's new blasphemy law. You see, Britain doesn't need to outlaw criticism anymore. We've moved past the messy optics of banning speech outright. No. Now, they bury it. They bury it under algorithms, policy terms, and advertiser suitability. Because in the new media economy, suppression isn't about arrest, it's about reach. And the real currency isn't freedom, it's visibility. If you can't reach your audience, you don't exist. If your words never appear on screens, they might as well have never been spoken. And that's the genius of it. They've turned the system of attention itself into a form of control. What we're watching is a modern digital version of state media, except instead of the government owning the newspaper, they've outsourced censorship to code. Google doesn't need to receive a direct order from Downing Street. They already know who butters their bread. They know which governments regulate their taxes, which ministers they need to keep sweet, which policies they can't afford to upset. So the result, quiet compliance, invisible censorship, no fingerprints, no headlines, just silence. 3. The illusion of neutrality. Algorithmic neutrality, that's the propaganda phrase of the decade. We're told the machine makes fair, objective decisions, but if the algorithm were truly neutral, creators wouldn't see patterns. Yet we do. Videos criticizing immigration policy, restricted. Videos exposing corporate corruption, demonetized. Videos mocking the Prime Minister's lies, ads denied. Meanwhile, celebrity gossip, reaction clips, and political propaganda thrive untouched. The system rewards distraction and punishes dissent. But the beauty, or horror, of algorithmic censorship is that it always looks like your fault. They don't ban you, they simply make you invisible. You start second-guessing yourself. Maybe the tags were wrong. Maybe the thumbnail looked too political. Maybe the wording triggered something. Creators become self-censors without even realizing it. And that, my friends, is how you kill a free society. Not with police batons or prison cells, but with doubt. 4. The UK's invisible partnership. Now, some of you might be thinking, come on, the government isn't sitting in Google HQ pressing red buttons. No, they don't have to. They legislate, they regulate, and they pressure. Quietly. Through committees, consultations, and policy partnerships. In 2023, the UK's Online Safety Bill gave the state broad authority over what's considered harmful but legal speech online. That phrase alone should terrify anyone with a brain. Harmful but legal means we can't outlaw your opinion, but we can make sure no one ever sees it. And if you think that doesn't affect ad visibility, think again. Google and YouTube are terrified of being seen as platforms that enable harm. So they preemptively strangle anything remotely controversial, especially if it could embarrass those in power. The government doesn't need to say, don't promote videos criticizing the PM. They just need to remind platforms of their duty of care. And suddenly, your video about government hypocrisy is flagged as sensitive political content. That's not democracy, that's digital monarchy. 5. The silence of the public. What's most disturbing isn't just the censorship, it's the apathy. The British public has been lulled into a coma of convenience. As long as Deliveroo still delivers and Netflix still streams, nobody cares who controls the narrative. We don't read between the lines anymore. We don't question why certain videos never appear on our feeds. We just assume the algorithm knows best, as if the algorithm were God and Google the church. But this is how it always starts. Not with loud bans, but with quiet exclusions. Today it's creators criticizing the Prime Minister. Tomorrow it's investigative journalists exposing corporate donors, then activists, then comedians, then you. Because once a system learns to silence one voice, it learns to silence all. 6. The political convenience of corporate fear. Let's talk about the marriage between the state and Silicon Valley, because it's not romance, it's strategy. Governments love corporations that can do their dirty work without the optics of state violence. And corporations love governments that won't tax them too harshly. It's the perfect symbiosis. Google doesn't want to fight with the UK government over content moderation. The Prime Minister doesn't want to be publicly accused of censorship, so they meet halfway in the dark. One pretends to be neutral, the other pretends to be innocent, and both win. Meanwhile, the creators, the citizens, the people lose everything, reach trust and faith in democracy itself. That's the silent deal. That's how free speech dies, not with outrage, but with consent. Because we keep clicking, keep scrolling, keep believing we're free. 7. The new thought crime. Orwell warned us that thought crime would destroy the world, but he never imagined it would come wrapped in a Google ad policy. If you express political criticism that makes advertisers nervous, you're branded limited monetization. If you express outrage at government failures, you're unsuitable for promotion. If you question authority, your reach collapses. The punishment is invisible, but the result is absolute. You stop trying, you stop speaking, you start censoring yourself before you even hit upload, and that's when they've won. 8. The creator's dilemma. Every creator in Britain now faces a choice: speak freely and risk invisibility, or play safe and get paid. And let's not kid ourselves, most will choose the latter, because rent doesn't pay itself. So the system slowly breeds conformity. Creators who once spoke truth to power now speak comfort to algorithms. They become predictable, palatable, profitable. But a culture that rewards obedience cannot produce truth. It can only produce entertainment, and the day we value entertainment over truth is the day Britain stops being a democracy in anything but name. 9. The irony of British pride. It's almost poetic. A country that loves to lecture others on freedom of expression, now quietly outsourcing its censorship to the same corporations it pretends to regulate. We mock China for its firewalls, Russia for its propaganda, but in Britain we've built a censorship system so elegant, so seamless, we don't even realise we're in it. It's not a wall, it's a filter. It doesn't block, it buries. It doesn't ban, it blinds, and we call it progress. 10. The road out. So what do? First, awareness, because ignorance is the soil that tyranny grows in. If the British public knew that government-linked ad policies were suppressing criticism, they'd lose their collective mind. But they don't know, because the very systems being accused are the ones that decide what gets seen. Second, resistance. Creators have to document every rejection, every demonetisation, every suppression, screenshots, appeals, logs, data, build a pattern, show the world what's happening. Because if we can prove the link between government pressure and corporate censorship, we can blow the lid off this polite authoritarianism. Third, solidarity. Independent media must band together. One voice ignored is easy to silence. A chorus is not. And lastly, courage. Because if we're too afraid to speak, we deserve the silence that follows. Let me end with this. Censorship in Britain doesn't wear a uniform, it wears a suit. It doesn't shout, silence them. It whispers, not advertiser friendly. It doesn't burn books. It buries links. It doesn't ban creators. It quietly denies their ads. And in that quiet denial lies the death of truth. The most dangerous form of censorship isn't the one that tells you what to think. It's the one that ensures you never hear another perspective. And that's what we're living in right now, an empire of managed visibility. The Prime Minister doesn't need to silence you directly. The algorithm will do it for him, politely, efficiently, automatically. But the thing about silence, it's never permanent. Not if we keep speaking, not if we keep documenting, not if we refuse to let this country become the digital dystopia it's sleepwalking into. So here's my message to every creator, journalist, and citizen watching, don't let them gaslight you into obedience. If your ads are denied, talk about it. If your reach collapses, document it. If your voice is buried, dig yourself out and make noise. Because the only thing scarier than a government that censors is a population that lets it. Not right, not left, just real.